What's up, buff dudes and girls? You asked for it, and here it is. Beginner's nutrition. Now, we've had a lot of requests in the past of nutrition videos, so here we go. Why not start with the basics? And that's exactly what we're gonna do today. Easy tips that you wanna remember when first beginning your nutritional journey into becoming a buff dude. Tip number one is going to be chew your food slow. Now this sounds kind of obvious, but this is a beginner's episode and we want to start with the basics first. There's a couple reasons why you want to chew your food slow. First is going to be as you chew your food, the body is going to produce saliva. And this saliva acts like almost like a pre-digestion tool before it even hits the stomach, which is great.
Oh yeah, just like that movie The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. You know the scene where he vomits all over that donut because he can't pre-digest his own food in front of his girlfriend Veronica? That's right before she has that fucked up dream where she has that maggot baby because they made sweet love when he had those superpowers and he snapped that one dude's arm in half while he struggled with his humanity because he was beast, he was man, he was Brundlefly. That was a good movie.
Yeah, so remember Brundlefly. Or not. Now the second reason why chewing your food is so good is because it's going to take time for your body to send a hormone called leptin up into your brain to let it know it's full. Now this usually takes some time, around 15 to 20 minutes. If you chew your food too fast and eat it too fast, you're going to usually eat too much. So make sure you take your time and savor every last bite like it's your last.
Here's a great beginner's nutrition question for you. Why are you eating? Let's get philosophical for a second. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, when you eat a whole jar of cookies all the way down to the bottom and stare into the void of the cookie jar stares right back at you. I may have loosely quoted that a little bit. What I'm trying to get at is remember why you're eating. And a lot of you may be going, well, no shit, I eat because I'm hungry. And yes, that's true. But you want to remember those calories, you want to remember those macros, you also want to set aside goals. Do you do sports? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain weight? Remember why you're eating. So the next time you pick up those cookies, you may want to say to yourself, 1 second, I'm getting a call here.
Put that cookie down, now!
Fuck yeah.
Know your macros. Calories are calories, right, bro? That's actually incorrect. So there are certain metabolic effects caused in the body by different calories, and these different calories come from different sources. These sources are macronutrients. Now there's three primary macronutrients: fats, carbs, and proteins. Fats. For every 1 gram of fat is going to be equaling 9 calories, which makes it the most energy-dense macronutrient. Some of the benefits you want to keep in mind when having fat is going to be lowering bad cholesterol to protecting against cardiovascular disease. Now, you want to avoid some fats, which would be saturated fats, trans fats. It usually comes from processed foods. Some of the fats you do want to include are going to be salmon, avocado, and these nuts. Like the actual nuts. Walnuts, almonds, you know, stuff like that. Moving on to carbs and proteins. Now these are going to be the same energy density. It's going to be 4 calories per 1 gram of either carbs or protein. Let's cover protein first. Now these dudes are comprised of amino acids, and they're mainly known for the building blocks of muscle. And that's true, but they also help in a lot of other avenues, like from building enzymes to even hormones. Oh, and they also help with feeling more satiated, which is a fancy word of meaning full. Carbs, the main energy source for the body, but also the mind. Make sure you watch those sugary carbs though, because what happens is if you have too much, it can be spiking your blood sugar levels, your body release insulin, it can be a hell of a lot easier to store fat because of that. Also, if you have too much sugar, there could be a little bit higher chance of getting diabetes because you become insulin resistant. All right, enough doom and gloom here. Just make sure you have whole, healthy foods, because remember, you are what you eat.
Keeping it simple. In the internet age, there's a lot of information out there. In fact, for those of us who research, we can almost get overwhelmed because there's too much. An article could say this food is great, an article the very next day could say that same food is bad. There's a lot of trends as well. Paleo, intermittent fasting, if it fits your macros, anal digestion, the list goes on and on. What you want to do is keep it simple. What we recommend, grab a TDEE calculator, there's a link in the description. Find out your general calorie range and begin to fulfill that using whole, healthy foods. Play around a little bit. No one's the same, and you're gonna find that range as you go along. Could take a couple months, could take a year. This is definitely marathon, not a sprint. So take your time, stay consistent, and keep it simple.
Portion control. Make a fist. Now punch yourself in the face because you've likely been ignoring portion control. You know that fist that just punched you in the face? That's about the size of your stomach. And although it can stretch a bit, you want to make sure you're aware of how much you're stretching that bad boy. Are you stretching it just the right amount, like the hot girl in the gym with the yoga pants stretching? Or are you stretching it too much, like the douche bro in the gym with ILS that's wearing a shirt 3 sizes too small, just to make himself look big? Okay, you get it. The point is to be aware of how much you're eating. If you're still questioning, what you want to do is take out your dinner plate from the cupboard, hold it up, and make a fist. And as you can tell, it's quite a bit bigger than your stomach. So it's easy to get carried away of how much your food you're putting on the plate. Make sure you take your time, so that way the signal from your stomach can hit the brain to make sure you're full, but also control the portion size. So even if you do eat a little bit quicker, you're always good to go. And if you ever question yourself, make a fist. And then if you haven't followed any of these instructions, punch yourself in the face.
And finally, meal prep. We cannot stress how important this one is. You may have heard about it before, but if you haven't tried it, we highly recommend you do. It's very simple. Grab yourself a slow cooker, one of our favorite kitchen tools of all time, whip yourself up a meal. Typically on a Sunday is when we do it. Grab yourself some glass containers in order to store the food in the fridge, and you've got yourself meals for the rest of the week. Think about it. If you don't have anything prepared beforehand, you're gonna open the cupboards, grab anything you can do, especially if you have a busy schedule. If you go to college, if you're a high schooler, if you work a full-time job, time is gonna be very limited. So with meal prep, you can plan everything out beforehand, and then all you gotta do is open that fridge, grab that meal, and you're good to go. Now that's buff dude style. Yeah. There you go, dudes and girls, the beginner's guide to nutrition. Now for many of you, this list is gonna be something you've probably been following for quite some time, but hopefully it was a helpful reminder, and those real beginners out there feel a little bit more sure of themselves now that they've heard a couple of these tips. So get out there, follow these tips as close as you can, and suggest some more beginners videos in the future. You've already suggested some great ones, which we wanna work on, but we're always open to new ones. So until next time, you know what to do. Stay buff.